this afternoon. I'm not saying this right, but I try. Mr. Justin Karfo. Enjoy your afternoon. We have prepared a cup of tea and some Welsh cakes for everyone in the vestry later. So it's not only the Welsh language you'll have to put up with, it'll be Welsh cakes as well. But very nice, very nice.
Sy'n ymddangos ar gynhyrchion i warrantáu bod cynhyrchwyr dan ymwybyddiaeth yn cael bargen wych. Hefyd, mae mwy na 5 miliwn o ffermwyr, gweithwyr a'i teuluoedd ar draws 49 gwlad datblygiadol yn enw ar y system.
Trio ni mas I Burkina Faso nôl yn Tachwedd 2010 ac mae'n beth braf, mae pobl Sir Gyfyrddin mor dda yn rhoi arian tuag at prosiectau cymorth Crisogol ac oedd yn hyfryd o beth I allu gweld pen draw bint na. Chymod y bint na chi roed yr amlen goch a ni'n gallu gweld pen draw hwnnw a'r ffordd o'r arian na'n cael I wario yn enghraifft mewn cymunedau bregus yng ngogledd Burkina Faso. Fel chi'n gwybod, llynedd fe lwyddon ni gasglu 5,000 o bunnau tuag at prosiectau cymorth Crisogol yng ngogledd y wlad a ni am wneud yr un peth, ni wrth I wneud yr un peth leni eto. Ac am bob pint I ni'n casglu, mae'r Undeb Ewropeaidd yn rhoi 4 pint. So, os a phan lwyddon ni I gasglu 5,000 o bunnau, bydd hwnna'n troi mewn I fod yn 24,000 o bunnau, sydd yn gwneud gwir wahaniaeth I gymunedau yn Burkina Faso. Be sydd ni nawr yw ffilm fer I ddangos I chi effaith y llifogydd. Mae'n od gweud siarad am ardal diffeth, jyst i'r de o'r Sahara, sych ofnadw, ond bob hyn a hyn mae'r llifogydd yn bwrw glaw a mae'r llifogydd yn dinistrio'r holl waith caled fi o'n nhw'n trio tyfu cnydau. So ffilm fer am hynny sydd nawr. Ti'n mynd I gwrs I chi?
Yn ystod 2009,
wedi cyflwyno fo I, fel dwi wedi dweud, pennaeth y pentre, Marina. Wedi cael Felly wedi mwynhau'n barod I ymwyshiad yma. Ond mae'r syniad yma o cariad Duw yn ymestyn dros y byd rhwng ni a pobl mewn angen, mae'n syniad chwyithol. Ti'n bach lan yn yr awyr yn sti. nes bod ni'n gweld mewn ffilm a gweld trwy cyfarfod â rhywun beth mae'n golygu yn union. A gawn ni gofio, nawr, mis yma, fel ni'n siarad, mae tymor y glaw mawr yn Burkina Faso, sy'n mae'n technologies yn dylplu a Burkina. Rwan, ar hyn o bryd, mae pobl yn mynd trwy'r eironi mawr, creulon yma, ar ôl ceisio gweithio a gwella amaethyddiaeth am fisoedd, bod y llifogydd sydyn yma'n dod a dynistrio popeth bod yn wneud dros ei teuluoedd. Mor greulon yw hynny. Ac os eich neges allan o fan hyn, at bobl eraill sydd ddim yn gallu bod yma heddiw, mae'n siŵr y trysynyddion Bryn Beglwys yn cadw gronfa'r agor tan diwedd y mis ac mae modd cyfrannu ar-lein hefyd. Nawn hyn i gyd yn enw Duw. Y person sy'n personol i hyn yw Justin Karfo. A mae'n mynd i ddisgrifio'n fyw i chi sut mae bywyd pentrefol yn Burkina Faso. Yn enwedig o safbwynt mewn, dweud o safbwynt y ferch sy'n cael yr amser yn hawster mewn bywyd pentrefol. Beth yw ei brwydr hi bob dydd a beth mae cymorth o fath yma yn ei olygu. Mae gafon ni fagu yn eglwys Cynulliad Duw. Cynulliad Duw y safbwynt y dir. Ac mae gen i hanes, yn cadw chi nir, mae gen i hanes am yr eglwysi yna. Mae nhw'n eglwysi eitha bywiol. A'r hanes a'r stori am eglwysi Cynulliad Duw yw hyn. Pan oedd rhywun yn aelod o eglwys Cynulliad Duw wedi marw, fath y nefoedd a cwrdd yn ôl y traddodiad a Sam Pedr wrth porth y nefoedd, ac Sam Pedr yn ei croesawu i mewn yn frwd iawn ac yn gofyn iddo cymryd i le. A'r aelod yma o eglwys Cynulliad Duw yn gweld bod arwydd at y bydyddwyr, cyfannu bynwyr wrth gwrs, Methodistiaid, Presbyteriaid, hyd yn oed pybyddion, a'r holl enwad yma, ond doedd dim un arwydd yn arwyddo at Cynulliad Duw. A dyna fo'n mynd yn betrus at Sam Pedr a dweud wrtho, os dim croeso fan hyn yn y nefoedd i aelodau eglwys Cynulliad Duw, a Sam Pedr dweud fo, na, os dim angen arwydd at Cynulliad Duw, mae pawb yn clywed nhw o bellter. Mae'n cymryd y sŵn felly. Ac dod o ryw gefndir felly mae. Wedyn enillodd y ysgoloriaeth i fynd i atgoleg unedig y byd yn yr Unol Daleithiau, lle enillodd y ysgoloriaeth arall i fynd at Prifysgol Princeton yn Unol Daleithiau. Fe nath o weithio am 2 flynedd i'r Cenhedloedd Unedig yn ei swyddfa datblygu yn Efrog Newydd. Ers hynny, mae wedi mynd draw i Llundain, lle mae nawr yn aelod o eglwys Eglwys Hillsong yn Llundain. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn this into an African service now for the last few minutes. Pan o'n i yn Tenkodogo, fe eisi at eglwys Cynulliad Duw, yn 10 mlynedd nôl, ar y waith, ni'n prynu nwyddau Tenkodogo, eisi ar rwy'n arall o'r pentre yma, fel mae'n digwydd. Ac ar ddiwedd gwasanaeth 2 awr, dyna nhw'n deith ni, at the end of the service in Sunday the Deer, Tenkodogo, they said, vous allez vous présenter. Wnaeth nhw dweud wrthyn ni i godi yn y cefn a dod i gyflwyno'n hunain. A dyna yw'r arferiad Africanaidd. Felly, gawn ni wneud hwn yn gwasanaeth Africanaidd cyn bod Justin yn dechrau siarad gyda ni, gan ddechrau gyda the chef de village, the village chief, can we ask everybody very quickly just to introduce themselves, to give their name. So this is a truly African service. We're part of the communion, a Christian communion here. We worship the same God, whether it was in New York, Zio, Ouagadougou, or Gwyddgrug, c'est le même Dieu. Vous allez vous présenter. Ac os newch chi gyd trwy eich enwau, vous allez...
Justin. Nice to meet you. As I said, I grew up in Ouagadougou, but my parents came from the center-south part of Burkina Faso, and they came to Ouagadougou for job purposes, and that's where me and my siblings were raised. I'm one of 7 kids. I'm number 6. I just came back from Ouagadougou, where my older brother, the one right before me, just got married. There was a big feast. I'm sure you've witnessed one of those. And on my way back, everyone reminded me I'm next in line, so everyone expects me to be married soon. I'm really happy to be here. It's such a blessing to be here and talk to you in the church. I called my mom this morning to tell her I'm going to Wales to talk to a bunch of unknown people, and she was worried. But then I said it would be in a church. And she said, hallelujah, because her dream has always been for me to be a pastor. So this is one of the proudest moments ever in my mom's career, having me as a baby. I was asked to talk about rural life in Burkina Faso. Truth be told, I grew up in Ouagadougou. My parents moved there. Ouagadougou is a small city, town-ish. It's not as big as London, but it's still a town. So the conditions of life in Ouagadougou are quite different from the rural area. But growing up, my parents grew up in Ziu, so we've always gone back every summer. And I know how it is to live in the rural area. And so my job today is to kind of give you a sense of what rural life is in Burkina Faso. And the way I'm going to go about that is to tell a story, the story of my cousin. My cousin is called Aminata. Aminata is around 16 years old. She's already at a marriage age by Burkina standards. So her parents are already worried, she's getting too old, she doesn't have a husband yet. So that's something they are worrying about. But she wakes up in the morning, most likely around 5 p.m. And her mom is already awake. She has been cooking since 4:30-ish. If it's a Muslim family, everyone has been up for the past 15 minutes, getting ready for prayer, the early prayer of the Muslim faith. And she has to walk for at least 3 miles to get some water. Fetch the water, bring it back, and then start helping her mom cook. And because I spoke with a friend on the way here, there is no job in the rural area. So all the young men after a certain age, they tend to move either to the cities or they just move all together to Ivory Coast to work in the plantations and such. So there is a lack of strong workforce as a young man. So Maimuna will come, Aminata will come back, and she'll be the one breaking the wood, tough job, and then for the fire, for her and her mom to cook, and then gather the little kids, shower her little sisters and brothers, and then everyone gets ready to go to the farm if it's the rainy season. So they go to the farm, they work all day long, and so I don't know, God knows what, 9 p.m. sometimes, and they come back, and the man of the house most likely will sit down and have a chat. She will go back to fetch some water so that the older people will be able to shower and have a meal before they go to bed. And then she's going to cleans up after that and goes to sleep around 10 p.m., sometime midnight. And she has to do that again at 4 a.m. in the morning. So it's quite a tough life, mostly for the most fragile part of the society, which is the female side. And it's also a fragile cycle because Burkina Faso is in the savanna belt of Africa. It has 2 seasons. A dry season that goes from, let's say, September-ish until May, and then a short rainy season of 4 months. And depending on how far you are from the south, the rainy season can be short and long, or long. The southern part is quite humid, so there's a lot more vegetation, so you can actually produce enough to feed yourself for the 7 months. But the northern you go, it's dry, it rains quite sparsely, so you cannot harvest enough to cover up the whole 7 months when it's not raining. So the issue, and I'm glad you guys helped with that, is it's such a fragile cycle that the soils are also so thin and not firm enough that any flood or any excess rain can cause the destruction of the harvest of the year. So the fragile cycle by which they produce enough to provide for the following 7 months can be broken just like that. So Aminata would wake up, let's say in September 2009. They have been working for the past 2 months. They work really hard, they grew their crops, and then one day, boom, the floods. All the farm has been devastated. The house has fallen down, and the school has fallen down. There's water everywhere. There's a governmental announcement that they need to evacuate to the nearest town, where the local schools will be open for them to live there. And in 2009, for example, 100,000 people were concerned by the floods. So many people lost everything, their harvest, the houses, and everything. And that's when you guys come into play, because to provide for them, Burkina Faso is quite poor. The government doesn't have enough revenue to provide for everyone. So that's when the aid kicks in. And through churches like yours, and they help to bring over the government and the local partners, the Christian Aid or the evangelical development organization are able to provide for them by either giving them enough food in the period before they go back to their houses, or by just helping certain kids continue their school education while the region is benefiting. So that being said, if you have any question regarding me, my family, my village life, rural Burkina, the floor is open.
Is it hard being away from your family and not seeing them that often?
It has been tough because I'm sure you said it in Welsh, I didn't understand, but I was 17 and a half when I left home. I won a scholarship to go pursue my studies in America. So I left quite early. And like my other 6 siblings, I didn't go to boarding school. There are public boarding schools that are quite inexpensive, and with governmental aid, most people go to boarding school. But my mom didn't want me to go. I was my favorite. So I never left home until I was 17 and a half. Even my younger brother, shamefully enough, left home after 6th grade. My mom wouldn't let him go. So 17 and a half, a big boy, never left his mom. He's sent across the Atlantic to go to school in America. It was tough the first few months. Definitely very tough. But now I've been away since 2003. I left Burkina. So I try to go back every summer, otherwise my mom would kill me. So it has gotten better.
You eventually want to go back to Burkina Faso permanently?
Yeah, definitely. I guess, I'm sure you mentioned all I've been doing thus far. I went to boarding school for 2 years, which was end of high school, deep international baccalaureate. And then went to school in America, in Princeton University. And after that, worked in New York for 2 years. And I'm working here in London too. But all of that is a process of learning a know-how in order to be relevant and useful when I go back. So I'm still in the process of doing that. Most likely going back to school, or maybe either a doctorate or a master's degree before I go. But to give you a timeline, in the next 5 years, I hope to be home.
You won't return as a pastor for your mother's sake.
We'll see. It's a calling, so I haven't been called yet. We'll see.
Burkina Faso. I was going to say And then this man goes on, goes forward, a white man goes forward, and was like, what's he? And he was representing Glenwood Church in Cardiff. Exactly, we don't know, yeah.
In the middle of nowhere in Burkina.
In Gorom. Wow. Gorom, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's impressive.
It was a fantastic coincidence.
She keeps got this other voice to be a member of the assembly that here.